lot of relationships right now are dealing with the competition aspect of our conditioning. So we're always scanning our life and our partner for areas where they are better, they are superior, and areas where we are inferior, and vice versa. And so this constant scanning to see who's doing the best job in a relationship can lead us into being in constant resistance against the evolution that is being offered to us through whatever our current experience is. In my case, I am usually the heart-centered one, and as duality would have it and opposites attract, my partner is usually the one at the unconscious level of being more egocentric. And so we sometimes will become like oil and water because the ego perceives my attempt to teach him from my heart space as a threat to his superiority, his sense of power, his sense of dominance. So he may feel like I'm getting in a power struggle with him and I'm trying to prove that I'm better than him. And it's an unconscious calculation that we're making because we've been conditioned to do this. For those of us who were in religion, we were taught to always scan your environment, discern to see who are sinful, who are behaving as sinful people so that you don't become like them, to consecrate yourself from these types of people that do these things. And we practice that so much to the point where we unconsciously, subconsciously are always measuring people in our lives, especially the people close to us, as someone who is going to pull me down or someone who isn't, someone who is bad for me and someone who isn't. Who is the superior one? Who is the most righteous one? Who is the best at this? And so we learn how to be divisive. We learn how to constantly measure who's better. So the whole superiority, inferiority complex is what's playing out in our relationships, because we need to feel the pain that creates so that we can stop practicing that way of being with one another and ourselves. So in our case, because my life has been really uniquely set up where I often did not have typical support systems. So I had to cultivate discipline within myself just to have simple things like a roof over my head, food, clothes on my back. A lot of people are born into families where these things are consistently provided for them. That wasn't the case for me. So early on, I learned how to be an adult. I learned how to be a parent. I'm a parentified child. I had to grow up fast. I had to learn how to be the responsible one. Very early on, I knew that I was responsible for the reality I created. So the discipline that I had to use just to survive has now put me in the position of being more self-mastered in regards to the way I treat people, the way I handle issues with people and in my relationships. I'm typically the one that is taking the high road and trying to bring other people on the higher road. And this is not a superiority. statement. This is a statement of me observing the fact that I am usually the resolution bringer. I am usually the one that wants to be diplomatic and create peace and harmony and not be divisive and at each other's throat. On the other end of that, it can look like I'm trying to be a guru in my relationship. And I'm trying to, through the lens of the ego, my partner can see me stepping into this power more fully as a threat to his position of importance. And he may not be able to feel empowered by watching me operate in my power, which is the power of wisdom. So if I'm trying to get him to see something from a more heart-based perspective, and his ego feels unsafe and feels threatened and feels as if he is being treated like a child, or he doesn't know more, he doesn't know enough, so you're not enough, you're not valuable, look at her, she's trying to act like she all that, she got it all together, she trying to teach you something, you older than she is, how she gonna tell you, you the man, you the head, who she thinks she is, why she trying to always control this shit, she want to tell you what to do. This is the ego's conversation, because the ego is the child version of us. It's just trying to keep us safe the only way that it knew how, from whatever we experienced from ages 1 to 7. So it is a child's perspective. And he may resist what I'm telling him, not because what I'm telling him doesn't have a wise perspective, but because it diminishes his sense of superiority that was established through the patriarchy, through religion, through the conditioning. So what happens is, this is the downside of this, because I know for a lot of moments that we have shared, he probably wished that he was the one lecturing me and teaching me and holding space for me and giving me another way to approach some of the difficulties that we face in life in our relationship. He probably would like to be the one saying, hey, look, let me tell you, da-da-da-da-da, like we can deal with this way. It's okay. He would like to be in this space of teaching and more self-mastered, but it's only because he did not see the other side of this coin. And the other side of this coin is, because I am a people-pleasing, codependent, loyal, diplomatic, always seeking peace type of individual, I don't really get to experience him forgiving me for mishaps and mistakes, because I have trained myself to go out of my way to never be the problem bringer, to always be the one bringing solutions. So that means he has experienced me forgiving him for hurting me and doing things that were not good for us over and over and over again, and I haven't got a chance to experience that forgiveness from him. That creates a lack of depth within the connection, because I don't know what it feels like to hurt somebody and for them to embrace me, be kind and compassionate and empathetic to me, even while I'm hurting them. I don't know what that feels like, but he does. And not only does he know what it feels like, but he has felt this from me over and over again. So in actuality, I crave to be in the space that he's in. I would love to be the one to not have to have it all together, not always be the one creating the solutions, creating peace and harmony. I would love to see, what does it feel like to hurt somebody, to make mistakes, to lie, to cheat, and still be loved and respected, cherished, and cared for. I don't know what that feels like. And that's a sad reality for me. My purpose in expressing this is hopefully to help people see that there are always two sides to every coin. And a lot of women have a very similar blueprint as I do. And on a collective level, it is my belief that because women are naturally wired to be more nurturing, we probably have been giving more mercy and grace and forgiveness to our partners than we have actually experienced from them. And if we are in a relationship with a man that has experienced traumatic events and he is maybe not yet to the space of being resolved in some of those traumas, what happens is his emotional sensitivity and lack of emotional intelligence creates a burden for the partner who may be more experienced in these areas. And so we'll take on a lot of weight. We'll try to take the pressure, remove the pressure that they may feel, to try to make them more comfortable, even at the expense of our own well-being. And this is what creates that space where we don't really know what it feels like to fuck up and be loved, cherished, respected, and cared for, even though. And so it's almost as if we can't make mistakes, because if my partner is easily dysregulated, and if my partner is easily defensive, even towards me over simple day-to-day things and day-to-day conversations, there is no room for me to make a mistake. If I make a mistake, the whole household may come crumbling down. If I make a mistake, the foundation of family that I am hoping to build may be threatened. And for me, it's even more difficult because I don't have a support system to fall back on. If I can't pay my bills, I don't have anywhere that I can go and live. I don't have anyone who can provide for me money to work. I also have a terminal illness that sometimes presents itself in ways where I have to take days off or I have to cancel things. So I know that I can't just go get a regular job. So I've been put in a very difficult situation where the one person that I rely upon is sometimes not seeing me the way I am really showing up because of the trauma that has been experienced on their end. And so I have to choose to establish peace. Don't let anything disturb it. Make sure that my partner does not get dysregulated because of anything that I did, because if that happens, I have nowhere to go. I have nothing else that I can do. I have no one that I can call. There is no one that's going to help me. I have never had that, and I don't want to have to be homeless again. I don't want to have to not have and not know where the next meal is going to come from again. And so my situation is unique. Your situation may not be as extreme as mine, but my Atmakarika, my soul planet, is Saturn. So in my soul contract, discipline was going to be the key factor in my life. This is the reason that I feel mastering ourselves is the only way to create healthy relationships and a healthier dynamic on the planet. The period of using our ego to defend us has brought us to a space where if you are doing that, you will experience the karma of doing that. There is no way to get away from it. And a lot of women have been put in a position where we can no longer bear the grunt of the relationship. We can no longer do the extra leg work to try to make things work. We've been put in a position where we're too exhausted. We're too tired. We got too much to do. There's too many things our body is screaming at us about that we need to focus on. Then we got to take care of the children. We are the nurturers. So we are usually the ones that's planning the meals, making sure that we got food to eat, making sure that things get done around the house, because we're usually the ones that are at home the most. But we've been working too. Like, we have been doing it all. We have been feeling the masculine role and the feminine role. And in 2024, which is a numerological year 8, we are not being allowed to operate in ways that are going to be a disservice to us anymore. And so a lot of men will start to feel abandoned by the women in their lives because they are not used to this power dynamic. They don't know what it feels like to have someone in their life who is stepping into their power. They were always programmed to believe that they were the power system, that they were the head, that they were the rulers, that they were the all that ends all, and the woman, she stands in the back of you, behind you, and she makes you great. She submits to you, and she does what you want her to do because you are the head. This is a man's world, and they're seeing that change. And when I first started stepping into the power of my feminine, the abandonment trauma that this purged out of my partner, it scared me. And the illusion was so strong to the point of me just wanting to completely give up and let go of the business and try to do whatever I could to make my partner feel less invaluable to me because I'm finding power in who I am. This creates karma. This creates generational curses. And this is what causes all human suffering. We will not be allowed to operate in this way anymore. The old relationship blueprints that a lot of us saw as an example, they are ineffective and they have actually become dangerous. And this is the reason that we are seeing more abuse on many different levels, more people being unalived, more children being hurt, more suicides, because we have reached a point where we have access to tools to help us. Now we have to actually accept that we need them and take practical steps to implement these tools into our lives so that we can heal, because our individual healing is what will create a paradigm shift in this world where there will be more heart-centered relationships and less ego battles. There is no superiority. There is no better. It's just different. And yes, there is what's effective and what isn't, but there is no good and bad. That black and white thinking and that duality will destroy us in our relationships if that is the model that we are using. It doesn't matter if you're doing this unconscious or consciously. You will reap the rewards of the seeds that you sow, no matter how conscious you are of it.